And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome inside Toyota Stadium alongside Steve Davis. I'm Owen Newkirk. Thrilled to have you here for this Gordon Jago Supergroup semifinal of the 2025 Dallas Cup. Steve, it's going to be a fun one against teams from Denmark and Brazil. Midtjylland versus Sao Paulo, two very well-known clubs in world soccer.
Well, I got to see Sao Paulo the other day. There is some talent out there. We saw Midtjylland, a really well-disciplined team a couple of years ago, so looking forward to this one, Owen.
Yeah, Midtjylland won the Supergroup, I believe, in 2023 as we were at the call. So we've seen what the Danes can do. It's a new group, but it should be a lot of fun. We'll have that for you momentarily from Toyota Stadium. It's the semifinal of the Gordon Jago Supergroup right here at the Dallas Cup.
Please rise and remove your hats for the national anthem of Denmark.
I'm super. This is what I'm made for. Yeah, step aside, better clear the floor. On the mic, I'm ready to soar. Yeah, gonna fight and it's supernatural.
Say hello to your natural superpower. 20 grams of protein, only natural ingredients, and zero added sugar. Try Chobani's high-protein Greek yogurt.
Our roots in this game run deep. We've been here, hydrating the grind with 50% more electrolytes. But it's time to raise the bar. This is our game, my game, your game, the beautiful game. From the ground up, we power soccer.
At CC's Pizza, dreams come true. But the best part of CC's is you, and you, and you.
Me?
Keep up, Doc. Dive right into my wondrous buffet. When it comes to pizza, you know that I slay. These desserts were made for stacking, like these games were made for whacking. Uh-oh, see ya. Reviews are in, the critics are raving. Even the super specific pregnancy craving. So come feed the band and pull up a chair. CC's the best pizza value anywhere.
Whataburger, bring back our mushroom Swiss burger. I heard corporate said it's never gonna happen.
Corporate here. We had the bandwidth to circle back on this action item, and
we're aligned. Bringing you grilled mushrooms, melty cheese, and creamy au jus sauce. If synergy like that isn't cool, then we don't know what is. The mushroom Swiss burger is back.
We're bringing back the hits.
What a burger!
When you're on the road, there's a lot of late nights. A lot of early mornings. Not supposed to say that. A lot of honey butter chicken biscuits. You hear my belly growling? Yep. I'm gonna need one of those right now. And a lot of good times with my band. What a burger!
Live here from Toyota Stadium, where construction is underway, although it appears the demolition may have paused for the afternoon. Owen Newkirk alongside Steve David. Take a look at the lineups of this Supergroup semifinal. First, we go with the Danish side, FC Midtjylland. Steve, it looks like they're going to play a 4-3-3 with two attacking midfielders, if our information is correct. As we will have a front line led by Sophus Johannesson, Nikolai Tornvig, and Sebastian Lodberg up front. And of course, their captain today will be the center back number 4, Gustav Bjerre.
They've come through the tournament so far with 3 wins over Dallas Texans Monterrey and, well, I beg your pardon, and one draw with Real Madrid, 2-2.
Boy, and did they ever put it up 6 goals against the Texans in their opening match at MoneyGram. Beat Monterrey by 2, but it was the Real Madrid draw that put them top of the group with 7 points. With Real Madrid needing a win, they only got the one, so they were at 5 in second. Now for the other side, Steve, we look at Sao Paulo FC from Brazil, who lost to this Midtjylland club, although 2 different teams, in the 2023 Supergroup final.
Yeah, I'll show you one name to keep an eye on there. It's number 2, the right back, Igor Felisberto. He was sensational the other day when I saw this team play in the Cotton Bowl. He gets forward very quickly from his right back position. Scored the first goal the other day as they won the opening group play match at the Cotton Bowl.
Sao Paulo beat Newcastle 5-0 in that game, then drew Tigres 1-1 on Monday. They beat Lone Star SC at Richland College 6-0, and they topped their group. Tigres will be featured in the second semifinal as they were second on goal differential. Both teams had 7 points in bracket B of the 3 groups of the Gordon Jago Supergroup. Referee today will be Jose Torres from Puerto Rico. The assistant referees will be Juan Colindres of Belize and Jaden Rouse of St. Kitts and Nevis. And the 4th official, Felix Mojica of Nicaragua. We will have VAR for this one and the other Supergroup semifinal, which always shows just how big of a stage this is for these young players. A top-tier international youth tournament. We always enjoy it. Stephen, you and I have been doing this for a long time now, at least 5 years, 6 years maybe, and what always seems to impress me is the technical ability and the tactical nuance for kids that from our broadcast vantage point look like professionals, and it's not until you zoom in and see up close that they're still teenagers.
Yeah, it is. It's always sort of funny, the juxtaposition here, because this is a youth tournament. It's one of the best youth tournaments in the world, certainly in the United States. So we talk about youth tournaments, we talk about how it's about development, and yet these are more young men than youths, aren't they?
And still very much figuring things out in the world and in their soccer careers. They're underway. Midtjylland wearing the all-black kits. They will be playing from right to left and defending the National Soccer Hall of Fame end, whereas Sao Paulo wearing their very classic whites with that very distinctive stripe across the middle will be going at the Hall of Fame. Here's the captain.
Sao Paulo very aggressive in the press the other day, and it looks like they're going to do the same thing here. Look at that. Right off the bat, they get a turnover off the press.
Well, Gustav Baer, the captain, will be very notable, not just for that big yellow armband he's wearing, but also his imposing nature of the center back. If I remember in the final 2 years ago between these two teams, they also had a very strong leadership from their center backs. It goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, Liam Salin. He plays it out to midfield. Trying to find Nicolas over on the left side of that attacking front 5. Felisberto up the near side. There's Poland. Now on the inside run, Martins. That's Hugo Martins. Quick switch of play by Nicolas over on the left. Felipe getting forward. Boy, the outside back's not showing any restraint to get up the field for Sao Paulo. Nicolas again was trying to slide one through. That was Tete. Couldn't connect, and it will be cleared out for a Midtjylland throw near midfield.
Now, the way the Sao Paulo team is going to play, it really looks sort of like an old-fashioned 4-2-4. But then what happens is once Felisberto from the right or Felipe from the left joined it, then it looks like some kind of a 2-2-6 almost.
It's very fluid. It's aggressive. A long ball by Pierre over the top. Has a man running down the right side. That's Lodberg. He'll try to curl it in. It was blocked. Good defensive play there by Felipe. And then he wins the challenge. Good, strong shoulder-to-shoulder challenge there by the Brazilian left back.
What a good ball over the top, though. Perfectly weighted to the right side.
Switch of play. Nicely headed by Simon Christensen. And it'll be out for a Sao Paulo throw over on the near side of the field. Now again, this is not the same squad we saw 2 years ago, neither of these teams. when doing that, there's still sort of a sort of an imposing size for the Danish center backs, their whole back line. Out to the left wing it goes. Takata, curling ball toward the box. Was looking for Mateus in the middle. Ball dropped for Poland. Good quick feet. Now out to the left again. Getting forward, Felipe. He'll cut it back. Blocked. That was off the foot of the defensive midfielder, Lasse Overgaard, as he helps defend and protect his back line. Takata, double teamed, lost possession. Quick counter press though. Felisberto, long curling ball from the top of the 18, but that's over. Aggressive from the right back to find a ball on the left side of the center line. He was unable to test Salen in goal.
I'm telling you, Felisberto will cover so much ground over there. As you just said, you know, he's the right back, and he's back in place right now, but he's on the counter press on the left side over there, so that's aggression.
And again, pressure in the middle as Sao Paulo wins possession back, trying to settle it down. There was a collision right at the center line. Referee wasn't interested, didn't even indicate there was a foul there.
Yeah, Sorio, I think, making a little bit of a meal out of that one.
Matthias Conradson is the right back who won that battle. Plays it back and it's cleared up the field. Good quick ball by Bunton over the top. Looking for Tornvig making the run, but it was too far.
You know, as you said, this is a different team to what we saw from Midtjylland a couple of years ago. But as we recall, very comfortable, defending low, playing on the counter, going a little bit more direct. They're very good at it last time and clearly pretty good at it again now.
They were drilled tactically. It felt like they had the discipline, as you mentioned, Steve, from that other, again, different team, but you feel like there are certain things that translate throughout the club. And I would imagine with Sao Paulo, we see a lot of similarities with the flair and some of the attacking aggressiveness that they like to do. Here's Tete out on the right. Takes a step around Christensen, still moving. Tete, a little through ball, but coming back to defend. Not as well as he thought. That's a quick shot. The flag was up. It is a corner kick as it went out of play. Good save by Liam Salen, the goalkeeper. But Krubali thought he had the play shielded off, and he did not.
Well, the ball seemed to roll a little slow there, and it's something to keep your eye on, Owen, as I watch the under-15 boys and girls finals today, is the turf is a little sticky right now. When you get this winter grass and then it's starting to die out and the humidity gets up, we'll see it get caught under their feet a little bit today, I think.
On the corner, first of the match for either team. Toward the back post, it's headed away by Overgaard, but it will be another Sao Paulo corner. Is running over there to take it is Takata, the left winger.
Numbers on the Brazilian team, not the easiest to pick out over on the far side, are they?
The ball curled into the box, headed toward the goal, and it's in. Sao Paulo has the lead off the head, and it's their striker. Mateus gets the goal, and the Brazilians are up 1-0.
Well, the ball's into a good spot, but you got to mark a little bit better than that. We just talked about how Midtjylland was pretty disciplined defensively, but marking not as good as it needed to be on the corner kick. Mateus making no mistake, dead center, but how about the service, Owen? I mean, it's right where you want it, driven in well from Takata.
An in-swinging ball right on the forehead of his target striker. And Mateus puts his big thumbs up back to his goalkeeper. Joao Nazari, who has not had to do much with it yet. The ball hasn't come his way. And the full press was on early. The question is, will Midtjylland be able to withstand this continued press as they are already down one? Or will they be overwhelmed by the aggressive pressure from Sao Paulo?
Well, this is exactly what happened with Newcastle the other day. Felisberto scored in the second minute, and Newcastle just couldn't ever work out of their own end. Midtjylland is going to be a little bit more direct. Newcastle the other day, as the tournament opened against Sao Paulo, they were determined to try to build out of the back, but they had a pretty predictable build-out pattern, and Sao Paulo just kept jumping on it. By the 15th minute, they had a 2-0 lead. Before the break, they were actually up 3-0.
It's again sent back in toward the Midtjylland half. The ball's been in their half of the field almost the entire 8 minutes of this match. In fact, Osorio, their captain, has barely touched the ball as one of the center backs. Hugo plays it around Felipe on the left. A little give and go. Mateus, the goal scorer, did not play it well. And Pierre with a long clearance. That's going to go out for a throw-in, but at least force Sao Paulo to run back on their side of the field for a moment. It's been a very, very impressive and attack-minded start for the Brazilians.
Well, this was the matchup in 23, and Midtjylland came out on top of that in the Super Group final, so maybe that message was conveyed pre-game. But, you know, also, Owen, we know in these finals that in the youth tournaments, even at this level, you know, momentum can swing pretty quickly.
Krubali plays it back, and Salem with a long clearance up over midfield. Torvig seems to be a bit on an island, and smartly done there by Isak. Headed it back to Joao Nazari, who does not have to hurry things along here. Still pretty early in the match to try to waste some time, even though they have the lead. But
for me, Owen, I think it's more trying to draw Midtjylland out just a little bit as opposed to just wasting time.
Here's a turnover and a chance for Tornving to move forward. Stepped into by Felisberto. Well, they didn't keep it, though. And now Midtjylland starting to throw numbers forward for the first time. Johannesson. Defended well by Felipe over on the left. He knocks it back inside.
Oh, and I don't think Tornvig actually understood how much time and space he had.
There's Osorio, the captain for Sao Paulo. Felipe. Mateus trying to hold up his man. Does so briefly, but has it knocked off his foot, but it's a foul called. And then a little bit of a late collision. And the referee, Jose Torres, is going to have a quick word here with Christian Boyi. I think this is just a warning here. It was after the whistle, but it was sort of a continuation of the play. I think Torres probably got that one right.
I think it was a well-deserved warning because Christian Boy got up a little high. His cleat was exposed. There wasn't a whole lot of force in it, and even though the whistle had already gone, you know, you can certainly get, you can certainly still earn yourself a yellow card, or even if there's enough force in something like that, a red card.
All right, back underway. Isak, Felisberto, some space. Plays it straight and direct toward the corner. That one flared a bit on him, though, and will go out for a throw. You can see he was trying to release Tete down the right side.
We've got a little bit of a swirling wind. I'm looking at all the corner flags. Some of them are dead still, and some of them are flapping around a little bit.
It's one of the ironic things of Toyota Stadium being currently under construction is that we normally can look directly across from us at the flag poles, but there are no flags residing on those poles. And so as Steve mentioned, you have to look down low, which is dug in. And it does feel like the wind isn't in a solitary direction. Now a little give and go into the box, and just getting stuck in his feet there. Mateus tried to lay that one off. And I believe that was that Takata that couldn't get it out of his feet on the left. Midtjylland quickly back the other way as they get into the attacking third. The ball was too far for Frederick Bunton. And that's maybe the second action, but first real claim by the goalkeeper, Joao Nazari, here in the first 12 minutes.
It doesn't look like Midtjylland maybe came out to be a little conservative early and sit back a little bit. Maybe the plan was to ride that out for about 15 minutes, then start pressing the lines up. But the early goal from Mateus there in the 7th minute maybe had Midtjylland just rethinking their plans a little and moving the timeline up.
Well, I think that's a great spot, and you're bringing back snippets of memory from that semifinal 2 years ago where they played Real Madrid. Madrid had the lead, and Midtjylland went from sort of more of a defensive shape, and they went forward and was able to overcome Real Madrid in that one and force Sao Paulo in the final. It was a good. It left quite an impression on both of us. The way Midtjylland was able to play several different ways within themselves, be disciplined, but not be overwhelmed by being behind against good attacking sides. So we were always impressed with that. Now on the flip side, there were some players for that Sao Paulo squad that were electric, and we've already seen an early goal from them in the 7th minute. But now Midtjylland with a long effort. The first shot. It did not find the frame, but it wasn't far off, and that was off the left foot of Sebastian Lodberg here in the 14th minute.
He was playing on the right side, but he turned around on the inside, used his left foot, and hit that one a ton. And I don't think he missed much at that upper right corner.
Probably, what would you say, about 19 yards, 20 yards out?
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Just outside the 18 there. And now a little pressure from Tornvig. Sao Paulo tries to play their way out. That's Takata. He's the one that played the cross on the corner that set up the opening goal. And now he's going to try to get linked forward. It was blocked. That was Overgaard, who covers a lot of ground. Their CDM, boy, he's their number 6. He wears 8, of course, but the 6 we call the defensive midfielder. We've seen him go from side to side, although right now, defensively, it almost looks like Bunton is dropping back in to give him a little help as a second pivot.
I think Sao Paulo gets so many players forward, they have to do that.
Right now, there is a lot of bodies in the middle of the field, but also pushing toward that Midtjylland back line, as Steve just mentioned, how many they get forward, Sao Paulo. That was once deflected again. And again, that's Overgaard going a good 30 yards up the sideline to step into that pressure.
He's trying to touch every blade of grass out here tonight, isn't he?
The throw in, and once again, Mateus is up there trying to hold up play, but this time it went over his head. It's cleared, but all the way back to the calm, waitful feet of Joao Nazari, who has definitely seen a little bit more action in the last couple of minutes versus the first 12 or 13. He'll play it to Osorio.
It's a good organized press from Midtjylland, and Sao Paulo just doing a good job of trying to make them work side to side.
It was Gustav Bjerg, the captain, stepping in, denying the ball up to Tete. And you can tell that while Sao Paulo plays aggressively with the press and with the ball, they have taken some time between. They're not playing in sort of a overly rushed or sort of scatterbrained pace between those plays.
Yeah, sort of a moderate tempo, isn't it?
Here's Nicholas. Tries to cut through. Oh, he goes right through the feet of Lodberg. Little Meg, switched by Hugo. Felipe has Takata running in front of him. Waited maybe a little too long. It was blocked by Boyi. Nikolai, now another through ball. This time he had Takata, but a little heavy on the touch, and that will roll out for a goal kick. But Takata had a half a step on on Conradson over on the right side.
That was a really well-angled ball. He saw the lane really well and just didn't get the weight right on the pass.
Here's Igor Felisberto. There's a foul. Or no, it's just a throw-in. It was a collision there, and a pretty solid one from Frederick Bunton as he got into Hugo Martins.
I feel like Bunton got enough of the ball there.
Well, that certainly will leave his mark, whether it's physically or just mentally. And again, Mateus, who's been strong in hold-up play so far, he has the goal. Poland tried to do a little back heel, and this time it didn't have enough to get to Felisberto. Stepping in front of that was Christensen. And Johansson now plays it. He wants a quick give and go. It's a long run and too far for Sofas Johannesson to track that one down. It'll be a throw-in for Sao Paulo up near midfield.
Yeah, they were looking to find that space in behind Felisberto, who got caught up that time just a little bit high.
He'll throw it back in. Oh, good long throw. Oh, hard hit there. Mateus got the flick on, but he couldn't connect it to Poland. A long, slow play, but enough to clear away by the goalkeeper, Liam Saitlin. And got about to midfield, but not by much. There was a real press coming to the goalkeeper. Now they go all the way back to Joao Nazari again. Moderate pace, as Steve mentioned a moment ago. It does seem right from Sao Paulo. Felice Alberto again with a quick foot, but then he and Tete were not on the same page. And the ball's given pretty comfortably back to Midtjylland. Pierre. This time plays it short. They've gone over the top a few times. This is Overgaard. Bunton. Good ball down the right side. Getting forward is Matthias Konradsen. Tried to cut it back for Christian Boye. Pass wasn't quite what needed to be, but they keep possession, and now Overgaard with help. Boye up for Konradsen. His cutback into the box, defended well, and Osorio will clear. Only as far as Overgaard. Now a left-footed effort, blocked by the back line for Sao Paulo. Another curled cross in toward the box. A header goes wide. Big opportunity there from Nikolai Tornvig, and a second foray forward by Midtjylland, getting a few attention eyebrows up from Sao Paulo.
Yeah, really nice job initially of getting around the corner there, getting down the right side, finding some space, getting that first crossing attempt knocked back, and eventually finding Tornvig. Didn't miss much at the far post.
They'll play it back quickly and short, and now Midtjylland getting an opportunity to cause some trouble as Sao Paulo can't get out of their own half.
No, like I said, it is a good organized press that Midtjylland is troubling Sao Paulo with right now.
Well, a giveaway there. The goalkeeper getting forward, and he just does get there ahead of Mateus. For a bit of a hesitation from Salin, and thought he might decide to bail out, but then in the last minute went for it and got the ball.
Yeah, and I think Krobali, the center back, had a beat on it anyway, so even if his goalkeeper, Salin, hadn't been able to get there, I think Krobali could have handled the situation.
Down the left side, Christensen. Johannesson. Oh, really good defensive play there by Felisberto, and to keep it in the play as he curled it. Boy, you couldn't control a chest, and it's cleared back out to midfield. Mateus seems very good at winning that 50-50 ball up near midfield, and allow Sao Paulo to send their numbers forward. Tete. Loose pass, but he had help behind Hugo. Steve said it at the beginning of the broadcast, that horizontal stripe through the jersey does make identifying numbers from distance just a tad more difficult.
You see Osorio on the ball right there over to Felisberto. I think both the center backs, Osorio and Isaac, for Sao Paulo have been really good in dealing with physical Tornvig, just matching that physicality.
A quick throw in here from Christensen. You can hear the swirling wind on our microphones even. It is gusty. Some weather expected overnight into tomorrow and even into Sunday early, which may cause some headaches for the Dallas Cup organizers for sure.
Yeah, they've got championship final scheduled all day tomorrow, and so we'll see what happens there. And of course, the Supergroup semifinal, Supergroup final closes it all out Sunday evening.
Always my favorite. It's fun to watch all the finals, but the talent level of the Supergroup is just at the top of the pyramid.
I like the semifinals because we get to see two of them.
Yeah, you get to see four
matches.
teams.
Yep.
Well, we're here at it right now, and Christensen with the ball over to Overgaard. Long diagonal ball, good head down there. That was, I believe that was Hugo. Yeah, he was the one that, if he doesn't get a head on that, it looked like Johannesson had some room down the left to maybe drag out one of the Sao Paulo center backs. That was a really good play by the defensive midfielder for Sao Paulo. Here's Bilal Krubali. Maybe trying to draw Sao Paulo forward as he didn't feel he had much. Bier over the top, drops it right on the feet of Boye. That's a heck of a ball from their center back captain. And then a giveaway and intercepted.
Yeah, that was Hugo again. I like his game. He's always nice and composed in there, helping connect the lines back to front.
And to your point, he covers a lot of ground, very similarly to what we've seen from Lassie Overgaard on the other side.
Yep.
So both of the sixes really doing a lot of work early in the first 20 couple minutes. Well, now Nicholas down the left side. Takata Has an overlap if he wants. Now he's going to try to split the two defensemen. Couldn't. Well done by Overgaard to help, and the cross was blocked. And it will be a corner kick. No, the flag is up for offside against Sao Paulo, and that'll allow Midtjylland to clear their lines. Quickly played. They don't have a lot of numbers forward. They have a couple. Sao Paulo was stretched, but they only had 2 attacking players above the ball.
Clever job there of playing that free kick quickly and just sort of eliminating immediately 4 or 5 Sao Paulo players and getting right through the press.
Pierre over to Krubali. Conradson plays it long, off the chest, and now a little bit of space out of Osorio. Boy, he didn't look tested at all, did he? Osorio and Isak. As that ball, they're trying to find Tornvik, but you can see, Steve, that the assignment is whichever center back is closer is staying pretty, what would you call it, touch tight to Tornvik. Even if, for example, in that one, Osorio got forward a little bit, the ball was over his head, but there's Isak right with the Danish center striker.
Yeah, and I think the idea is that not necessarily trying to keep him off the ball, but also the dual purpose, when balls are played in behind, they can just immediately get a body on him and stop the run, stop him from running in behind and let the other center back go and collect the ball.
Felisberto again, working his way up the right side for a throw. Taking his time here. Now he throws it in. Mateus, almost always the target player, as you would think from your center forward. Hugo, back to Osorio. He's got Felipe with him on the left, and he'll use him. Played him into space a little bit, but nobody there, so Felipe had time to track it down. He'll go all the way back. And the captain now finds Isak. Felisberto. Bypassed the first man, and a foul given. Pierre got into the back of Pauline there, just enough.
I didn't think there was much contact, to be honest. Clearly, Bier didn't think so either. He's having a quick word with the Puerto Rican referee.
So it'll be a free kick for Sao Paulo. I don't think it's a, it's a, for a minute, the Brazilians thought that was a throw-in, but definitely a free kick. It's going to be about 35 yards out, so this would be a heck of an effort if they want to go for goal. Felisberto is lining this one up with Osorio and Isak both getting forward to be targets. And the service will go toward that far post. Curling, header. Oh, what a goal! Mateus has his second, a brace in the first half. That one even more impressive than the first. Sao Paulo 2 and Midtjylland 0.
Well, what a dead ball there by Felisberto, and Sao Paulo really asking questions with these dead ball deliveries, and Mateus is clearly the guy you want on the end of them. I mean, and that header comes at about 13 yards. You don't see header scored from that far out, but it was there's a lot of pace on the ball. Mateus met it with authority, pushed it back. Goalkeeper Liam Salin, 2-0, and it's starting to look like a long way back for Midtjylland.
Well, I got to tell you, Steve, that header is one of the more impressive ones I've ever seen because of the combination of the power and the distance. It's not as though he met it and it floated in the right spot, and it's not as though he just directed power. He asserted force and picked the corner and won that with defenders right around him, and that was a very, very impressive goal.
And you really have to comment just a little bit, though, on the dead ball marking from Midtjylland. You know, we talked about how organized they are, good organized press, and they press together, but you've got to defend dead balls a little bit better than that.
Foul here called against Tornvik as he got into the back of Isak. So 2 goals in 26 minutes for Sao Paulo has them firmly in the lead, but we still have more than 60 minutes of action. So if Midtjylland wants to find their way back in, they're not completely out of it, but certainly not facing a downhill attempt.
Well, I have to tell you, the other day, as Sao Paulo just tore Newcastle apart. You know, the temperatures had crept into the 90s that day at the Cotton Bowl. It was sunny, so it's low 80s tonight, and you know, there's overcast skies, so it's not nearly as bad. But the other day, you just wondered, was Sao Paulo that good, or was it that Newcastle? I mean, I don't know how many times in the history of the world it's reached 90 degrees up in the north of England.
Great point. Newcastle on time, not known for their sweltering heat waves.
Nor a whole bunch of sunshine, especially at this time of year, whereas Sao Paulo, you know, they get plenty of it. So I sort of wondered about that and how that was affecting the match. Clearly, I'm sure that was had something to do with it, but also Sao Paulo is also very good.
Boy, they have looked sharp so far, but they have used their striker, Mateus, twice, his head to be the difference. Now, but that isn't just a one-off, because we've seen him win hold-up plays and targeting throughout the field, showing that he has the strength and ability to win those balls in the air.
Yeah, also probably worth commenting that, you know, we weren't sure that was much of a foul that gave the dead ball situation to Sao Paulo.
Yep.
I believe it was Poland that was fouled from behind.
Yeah, it was the captain, Bier, who didn't think there was much in it. However, as you brought up,
still got to defend the free kick.
The defending was left wanting a little bit, as the free kick for Sao Paulo again targets Mateus. This time, that one had a lot of pace on it, and he could not control it. Went out for a throw, put his apologetic hands up, but it is not easy to control a ball that's pinged at you about 50 miles an hour.
And that free kick probably came from, you know, because it's on the right side, so it's off center, probably 40, 45 yards,
yeah,
something like that. That's a good delivery from Felisberto from there.
Great pace, curled it right towards the head of Mateus, and then the power that he put into that. I still can't get over that.
Power and placement, as you said a while ago.
Krubali with a long ball forward. Tornving wasn't really looking at the ball there because he was second best positionally to Isak, but they keep it. Out on the left, Johannesson into the box now, cutting to his left on Felisberto. Blocks the cross. It will be a corner for Midtjylland. And perhaps set pieces is a way for the Danish side to get back into this one.
Well, it's the way they've put themselves in the hole, so maybe it is the way they can get back.
That'll be from the left flag. The big guys for Midtjylland as they play short, and the referee said he was doing something. So he's going to stop play there. I'm not sure what the argument was. They weren't exactly setting a wall.
That's a tough break for Midtjylland, because I think Sao Paulo had sort of fallen asleep there.
He played it short to Lodberg,
who turned at the corner of the penalty area with a lot of room.
Now he'll curl it in instead toward the goalkeeper. It was not handled well. It falls down. It's smashed by Krubali. An arm and a handball called against Midtjylland will bail out some questionable goalkeeping from João Nazari in the Sao Paulo net, who is down right now after the whistle is blown.
I mean, he got caught out in traffic there, and the ball falls at the far post. And, you know, we always talk about these tournaments, even though these are, you know, young professionals, it's about development. And, you know, one of the things you have to understand on dead balls is you just got to believe that ball is coming to you. You might see that it's going to get cleared out, but if you get ready to, if you lift your leg and get ready to play it anyway, that's, you know, that's a goal.
Teams are taking advantage of the goalkeeper being down to come over as almost a hydration break. You mentioned it's not as imposing heat-wise as it was at the Cotton Bowl at the beginning of the week, but it is still warm, and for whether it's Denmark or Newcastle or anywhere that's not necessarily used to this weather this time of year.
Yeah, 82 degrees is still pretty warm. And
that's right.
It's a little humid tonight.
The humidity has gone up since earlier the week. It was very dry.
Yeah. Now, you know, as opposed, Owen, to the under-15 boys and girls finals that we were looking at earlier today out here at Toyota Stadium, you know, those teams were playing their sixth game in 5 days. They played 2 games yesterday in the quarters and semis, having started on Monday. Now, these teams in this group, you know, these are guys that are going to be professional players, maybe not at Sao Paulo, maybe not at Midtjylland, but they're probably, you know, scattered throughout South America and Europe because they're very good players at a high level. So, you know, they want to protect them a little bit more. They ended up playing on Sunday. They played the second group match on Monday. They played the third group match on Wednesday. They've had it, so they've had a day between matches here. So they've got something in the tank, but even, you know, even for – very fit young men playing 4 games in 5 days. That's still quite a bit.
We have our first substitution of the match, came in the 33rd minute. During that delay, it does appear as though Joao Nazari, the goalkeeper for Sao Paulo, is okay. Well, Christian Boye is out, the attacking midfielder number 17, and in his place is number 20, Musiliu Odakunle. And so he will come in, and it looks like he's setting up as Steve, almost like a second striker. So I wonder if there's a bit of a formation change here for Midtjylland, down 2 goals. But that is notable. And you mentioned the number of games. Now, they've only played 3 versus 5 or 6 for the younger groups. But Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and now Friday, that is still a very grueling week.
Yeah, at this level, you know, the way they play, the way they press, it's not easy out there. But, you know, we know that they do get they are allowed to rotate a little bit. And it looks like, and I think they've gone to a 4-4-2. And, you know, they weren't getting anything at all down the left wing. They were going direct. A couple of times they found some joy up the right side, so that makes some sense.
Yeah, Oda Kunle is definitely lining up top. Tornvik's dropped back into the midfield a little bit more. We'll keep an eye on that as they sort out their new look formation here in the 35th minute.
Good speed there by the covering center back Isaac.
Hugo over to Felipe for Sao Paulo as they approach midfield. Nicholas, lots of space. He'll continue to dribble now outside for Takata. Back to Nicholas. Can they do a little 1-2? Overguard way out to defend, but not really pressing the ball. And then Takata didn't handle that one well. He wasn't under a ton of pressure. I think he didn't realize he had more time and space and just bungled that one out for a Midtjylland throw. Ooh, there was a high boot there from Overgaard. Player down for Sao Paulo. Overgaard angrily gesticulates for him to get back up as the player is holding his face. That is, it looked like Nicolas, number 11. Sort of clearing out the right eye. The referee didn't either see or notice anything wrong, so they'll play on, and looks like everybody's okay. Now a foul and a free kick over on the far side of the field for Sao Paulo.
Koulibaly called for the foul there, but that's always a tough one because both players are giving and getting and grabbing and pushing. Not much protest from the Midtjylland players, so it looks like referee Jose Torres got that one right.
So they're marking off 10 yards. You have to find where number 16, Mateus, is, because he has been a handful so far.
Yeah, Midtjylland better get the marking right on this one, or the match could get away from them.
If you're looking on the right side of your screen, he's in an offside position right now, Mateus, but might be trying to drop back just about contact. We'll see here. Here's the service in from the left side, curling. And Koulibaly got the header on it this time. Didn't clear it away enough. But the second ball by Bunton is out. And again, Mateus was not far away from that ball.
No, if Koulibaly doesn't get it, Mateus is diving in for it. He's going to get his third.
He was, what, maybe a half a yard from getting on the end of that ball with a hat trick up for grabs.
But another
first half.
But another sensational delivery on that free kick.
And you have to say, so for the most part, Sao Paulo has been pretty comfortable. There's been a couple of moments where they maybe have shown a little defensive breakdown, but they have to be pretty pleased with how they've played the first 37 minutes.
Oh, the only real danger from Midtjylland in terms of a big chance was the ball that Jean Nazari fumbled there on the corner kick. They had one other early opportunity.
Yeah, there was the Lodberg shot from just outside the box that just went over.
Yeah.
And then the corner kick that turned into a foul against Midtjylland, but that was not what you would call textbook defending off a corner from the Brazilian goalkeeper, but so far it hasn't hurt them. They have a 2-0 lead here in the 38th minute. The first of 2 Gordon Jago Supergroup semifinals here of the 2025 Dallas Cup. Krubali,
Nicely dealt with by Krubali.
flicked forward by Odakunle. He gets a step, waiting for the ball to settle down, and Isak with pressure. Needed a little help from Felisberto, but got it, and they'll pass their way out of it.
Odakunle sure looks like a handful up there, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? Energy, some pace.
Some physicality, too.
I can't help but notice how often Hugo is in a position to be the outlet when they're trying to get out of that pressure.
He was just like that the other day. Just nice and composed. Like I said, a really good connector and sort of stitching those lines, that back line and front line together.
Taking a run down the left again. That one's Felipe, cut back through the feet. That's cleared away by Odegaard. Nice turn by Odakunle. And a foul called as he had a shirt grab.
I mean, he beat 2 players on that turn.
And it'll be a free kick at midfield, but that was an important foul. They're going to go quickly again. That's the second time they've done that to Sao Paulo. Tornvik, pressure coming from behind. He keeps it out to the right. Conradson, the cross in. Odakunle wide open, and he scores. A header down by Odakunle, and Midtjylland is right back in this one. 39th minute, it's 2-1, and that all started because of a quick restart at midfield.
Yeah, a really good moment there from the Danish captain as he sets his team off running. Again, it's the right side that's causing the problems, and I tell you what, Odakunle has come in and absolutely changed this game because it's a formation change, but just his presence up there. That time he slips right in between the 2 center backs. It's a good delivery. Odakunle makes no mistake about it. From right at the 6-yard spot, into the back post, 2-1.
And that was, I believe that was Mathis Conradson, the cross from the right side, the right back getting forward. It didn't take long at all for Odakunle to have a huge impact in this game. He scored the first goal of the tournament, and that one is his third. He scored the first one against Dallas Texans at MoneyGram on Sunday, and then he scored the third in a 3-1 win against Monterrey on Monday. So his third goal of the tournament has given them some life, and how important that can be in just around 5-6 minutes to go in the first half when really they didn't have a lot going their way.
Oh, now you go into the locker room feeling like, if you're Midtjylland, feeling like you've got a good chance in the second half to grab the equalizer, and if you're Sao Paulo, now you've got to start asking questions about whether you take your foot off the gas a little bit, play a little bit slower tempo, or whether you really get aggressive and looking for that 2-goal lead again.
And so Paulo, who had those early chances, couple of headers from Mateus, other than a couple of free kicks in the last 15 minutes, not much to show for in the attacking third. But they do have a free kick here back door near midfield.
Well, isn't it interesting? We've seen this a bunch in these Supergroup semifinals and the finals, and even certainly into the lower finals that we always call, how a player can come in and you think, well, he's a substitute, he's not a starter, but the way they have to rotate because of the heavy schedule, sometimes the best players are coming off the bench because they've just played a lot during the tournament, and they may be protecting them a little bit, or they may understand that they've only got a certain amount of gas in the tank, and that's what it looks like here to me with Odakunle.
Oh, Isak got away with a handball there. Is a little flick from Johannesson, and Isak tucked his right arm behind his back, which was almost a sure admission of guilt. The referee, Jose Torres, didn't call it. But you're absolutely right, Steve, is that it's harder to get a gauge when you haven't seen the team necessarily all week, and you know that they have to rotate their players. It's not as though they're playing, once every Saturday. And so you know that their first choice lineup might be a little different as Tete takes a run down the right side. Nice looking cross, but nobody at that far post. Everybody had cut toward the middle of the penalty spot.
Oh, and I want to say a couple of years ago, it may have even been Sao Paulo and Midtjylland, that we spent a lot of the pregame talking about one certain player that we'd seen in the semifinal and we just loved him, but he didn't start. And then, then he came into the match 60th minute or something.
Sounds about right. There's been a couple of those instances where the best player on the field in the semifinal wasn't in the starting lineup 2 days later for the final. And as much as they are youthful in their energy, these teenagers still very much are human. Although I'm sure that their joints don't ache quite as much as some later in life.
But you're right, though, because tactically they're expected to. They're putting a lot into these matches. They're expending a lot of energy. They're putting logging a lot of miles, or in their case, kilometers.
Referee Torres is telling Phillies Berto to back up his throw. He had really crept probably about 15 yards farther forward. Oh. Fairly judged.
By this time, 18 or 19 years old, they've learned all the tricks. They watched the game.
Ball's cleared out, and a good switch of play, and now some speed for Sao Paulo down the left. A lot of space. A curling ball in, and oh boy, Takata was the target at about 7 yards. The cross could not be connected. That was a lung-busting run. I believe that was Nicolas that made the cross after a really long run, but just couldn't find Takata.
A couple of pursuing defenders running just as far. They just couldn't catch up with him.
We've certainly got ourselves a match here, Steve, as we approach halftime. And it's funny how the emotions can sway inside 45 minutes of, Sao Paulo should be very thrilled with the way they've played most of this half, but then one quick goal for Midtjylland, and it can change both feelings for both clubs.
Yeah, and honestly, though, I think it's been pretty even. It's just that Midtjylland didn't defend 2 set pieces very well. I mean, I think both teams have had, a couple of maybe one good chance and maybe a half chance here and there.
Fair. There hasn't been a lot from open play, has there,
Yeah.
as far as attacking opportunities? Overgaard will play it backwards to his captain, Bier. He'll switch it all the way out to the right. Konradsen. Back to Krubali. He has Soberg with him. And uses Sebastian Lodberg. Krubali. Bier. Christensen. Good quick switch of play along the turf. Johannesson had Bunton making the underlap. Didn't get it to him. Now gets back to Bunton, has some room here. Johannesson had the ball knocked off his foot. Odegaard got the ball, also got a bit of the man. It sounded like Sao Paulo supporters wanted a foul. The referee let it play on. And a switch of play for Midtjylland. Out to the right, Konradsen with a cross in, too high for Odekunle. Not cleared particularly well. Brought down. Johannesson cuts to his left. Curls the shot back in. It's deflected. Ball up in the air. It's still loose. Turning ball. And Tornvig hits it just wide of the far post. Very big, dangerous moment. Maybe the best of the match from open play for either side.
Again, Odekunle right in the middle of all of it. You see him there on your screen, number 20. This time as the cross comes in, he just can't quite make the connection. Still a lot going on there, and you see Tornvig able to swivel his hips around and get the shot, but he just can't quite put it near goal.
Oh, trouble here. The goalkeeper is out, and he just bails himself out. That was a very dangerous moment for Salin, who came way out. The ball kind of held up, maybe some swirling winds, but he was fortunate not to get caught, because that would have been a humiliating concession at this point now in first half stoppage time, with only about, what did you say, about 2.5 minutes to go of time added on to the end of the first half.
Yeah, swirling winds, I suppose, but
misjudged.
That's coming from the goalkeeper committee over there. Yeah, I think he just kind of erred in judgment.
Johannesson made a nice turn there, sent Poole in the wrong way. Piece of equipment or tape or something came flying off.
One of those tiny shin pads that some of them wear.
It looks like the Memphis Depay credit card that is called a shin pad. Krubali. Still have a couple of minutes here for Midtjylland to look for the equalizer. Odegaard pings it out to the left. Christensen sliced under it. He was trying to curl it in. He had a couple of runners, but that wasn't the execution he was looking for.
Asking a lot of questions, though, the Sao Paulo defense. And Felix Berto, a couple of his teammates out there having conversations right now about, who's supposed to slide inside, who's supposed to apply first pressure.
Well, there is that shin guard. Came out, and referee Torres just told Poland to put it back in. I'm sure it's more performative or more for to cross-check a box than to do much as a way of protection.
It's procedural more than protection.
That's
isn't
the
it?
word I was looking
I knew
for.
you were. I
Thank
knew
you.
it. I got you 6. I want to tell you what, I think all the momentum, certainly the initiative right now is with Midtjylland.
I agree. And it's only been in the last 10 minutes that shifted. Maybe even less than that. They scored in the 39th minute after conceding 2 goals in the first 26 minutes.
I really think a lot of it is just accounting for the second striker, Odakunle.
It's a good substitution in the half. They made the change in the 33rd minute, pulling out an attacking midfielder in Boyi, bringing Odakunle on, moving Tornvik back in the middle. And since then, it is definitely, oh, look at Odegaard there. Slipped, fell, dove on the ground, and got his head out to knock it out for a throw-in.
Overgaard, you're right. He covers a lot of ground. It was a nice sliding tackle there.
Lasse Overgaard has definitely shown an incredible amount of work rate in the first 45 minutes. If he can keep it up for the second half, I'll really be impressed.
I think Sao Paulo is going to be happy to get into the half there with the lead and sort of reorganize themselves.
They looked in complete control for about 26, 28 minutes. As far as they had the goals on the set pieces, they weren't giving up anything.
Yep.
That formation change for Midtjylland really did create some havoc for them. And there it is, the final whistle of the opening half. We've got a dandy going on. The first of the 2 Gordon Jago Supergroup semifinals here in 2025 at the Dallas Cup. 2 early goals for Sao Paulo and 1 for Midtjylland toward the end of the half. Mateo scored twice, Odakunle got one back, and we've have ourselves a game.
Yep, I would say that Sao Paulo has the lead, but Midtjylland has the initiative and the momentum right now.
All right, we will be back with halftime highlights and more. You're watching the 2025 Dallas Cup and the Gordon Jago Supergroup semifinals.
I'm super. This is what I'm made for. Yeah, step aside, better clear the floor. On the mic, I'm ready to soar. Yeah, gonna fight and it's supernatural.
Say hello to your natural superpower. 20 grams of protein, only natural ingredients, and 0 added sugar. Try Chobani's high-protein Greek yogurt.
Our roots in this game run deep. We've been here, hydrating the grind with 50% more electrolytes. But it's time to raise the bar. This is our game, my game, your game, the beautiful game. From the ground up, we power soccer.
At CC's Pizza, dreams come true. But the best part of CC's is you, and you, and you.
Me?
Keep up, Doc. Dive right into my wondrous buffet. When it comes to pizza, you know that I slay. These desserts were made for stacking, like these games were made for whacking. Uh-oh, see ya! The reviews are in, the critics are raving. Even the super specific pregnancy craving. So come feed the band and pull up a chair. CC's the best pizza value anywhere.
Whataburger, bring back our mushroom Swiss burger. I heard corporate said it's never gonna happen.
Corporate here. We had the bandwidth to circle back on this action item, and
We're aligned. Bringing you grilled mushrooms, melty cheese, and creamy au jus sauce. If synergy like that isn't cool, then we don't know what is. The mushroom Swiss burger is back.
We're bringing back the hits!
What a burger!
Halftime at Toyota Stadium here in the Gordon Jago Supergroup semifinal number 1. Sao Paulo FC from Brazil has a 2-1 lead over FC Midtjylland from Denmark. It's going to be a very rip-roaring second half for sure, but it's been a great week here at the 2025 Dallas Cup, and as you would imagine, this prestigious international youth tournament keeps getting better and better.
Our roots in this game run deep. We've been here.
It happened. We got the house! We did! 2,000 miles away.
We do long distance moves every day.
With Pods, you don't have to worry about the driving, and that's not all.
Need extra help loading? Yes.
We got this.
Also might want
more time. We're flexible.
Flexible means you can keep your container longer or store with us. Then we deliver it to your home, across town or across the country.
We made it.
Yeah, you did!
Pods, your personal moving and storage team.
This isn't just any burger run. This is a burger run for Whataburger Sweet and Spicy Bacon Burger. 2 fresh all-beef patties with melty cheese, grilled onions, crispy bacon, and sweet and spicy pepper sauce. One for you, one for him, and one for your unofficial roommate, Brad. Always order an extra. You know, for Brad. The all-time favorite sweet and spicy bacon burger from Whataburger. Just like you like it.
When you're on the road, there's a lot of late nights. A lot of early mornings. Not supposed to say that. A lot of honey butter chicken biscuits. You hear my belly growling? Yep. I'm gonna need one of those right now. And a lot of good times with my band. What a burger!
That's the historic water tower in Main Street in downtown Frisco. You can just barely see it from the broadcast level over the top of the canopy of the South National Soccer Hall of Fame here at Toyota Stadium. Halftime at the Gordon Jago Supergroup first semifinal with Sao Paulo leading Midtjylland 2-1. Owen Newkirk alongside Steve Davis. You know, Steve, we're going to talk about the World Cup in a second, but that view of the Frisco water tower probably won't be there when this renovation, which is just underway for the new Toyota Stadium look, is complete in about 3 years' time. That big, hulking new east side stand and canopy is probably going to block that view.
It's going to look great over there, and you're right, the actual demolition started today while we were on the air earlier today.
During, what was it, the U15 final, I saw them tearing some signs down and some other work over there. But we've had a great start to this first semifinal. Really fun second half on the way, but before that, boy, it's a year away. There's the look at the construction underway, some of the demolition that they're starting to take down that east side stand. The anticipation, it's a year away, but the 2026 World Cup hosting here in not only the United States, but also in Dallas and in Arlington over at, they call it Dallas Stadium for the World Cup, but it is AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play. The fact that there's so much of the organization, the broadcast center, the training facilities and team camps is going to be around DFW. It's going to be one of the hubs of this World Cup in the United States.
Hub is right, man. 9 games more than any of the 16 host cities. Going to be right here all around. There will be activity all around, like you said, training sites, training bases, out of the stadium, fan fest, watch parties. You'll see billboards all over the city. It'll be here before you know it, man. Had the poster reveal yesterday. The poster looks outstanding. I got mine signed by the artist. So it's going to be. I think when it's going to be the most important moment. And I say moment, the whole month. It's going to be the most important moment in U.S. soccer history.
And it's amazing to think of what 1994 did for soccer in the United States. Well, now as you fast forward 32 years, what can it do for the next wave of U.S. and North American soccer, which we've seen a lot of growth in Canada recently, and of course with the rivalry with the U.S. and Mexico. They're all hosting. It should be a lot of fun to watch the World Cup here in the United States and DFW.
When you're on the road, there's a lot of late nights. A lot of early mornings. Not supposed to say that. A lot of honey butter chicken biscuits. You hear my belly growling? Yep. I'm gonna need one of those right now. And a lot of good times with my band. What a burger!
Back here at Toyota Stadium, halftime just about done as we are closing in on the second half of the first Gordon Jago Supergroup semifinal here at the 2025 Dallas Cup. Sao Paulo leading 2-1 over FC Midtjylland. Steve Davis alongside myself, Owen Newkirk. Quick highlights from the first half where the Brazilians got off to a great start, scoring twice and looked like they were in full control. And a big reason is number 16, Mateus, who was a handful inside the Midtjylland penalty area.
Well, it was a master class of scoring on dead balls. There's the corner kick from Takata. Mateus taking advantage of some suspect marking there. And that was Felisberto putting a great ball in on a free kick. And, man, when you're scoring on a header at about 14 yards, you're doing something there, Mateus.
But then a change in formation, a substitution, and Oda Kunle with a huge impact even before he scored the goal.
Yeah, taking advantage of a really good cross there from the right side from Mattis Konradsen. And Oda Kunle making no mistake, and you're right, he has been an absolute handful as he was introduced into the lineup. Good tactical change there from Midtjylland.
It'll be interesting to see as we approach the start of the second half here in just mere moments what Sao Paulo will do. Will they just go with the status quo? Will they make an adjustment at halftime? Because Steve mentioned this before we went into the break, and he's absolutely right. The momentum completely switched to Midtjylland as they're going to make a sub at halftime here and bring on another player as well. It looks like
James Arinzi, number 11.
Yep.
See if we can figure out who left the match.
So Midtjylland will attack the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
FC Midtjylland to begin the half. Leading the match is number 15, Frederick Burton. Entering the match is number 11, James Arinze.
15, Frederick Bunton. It's the player brought off.
So Arinze is in for Bunton, as Steve correctly pointed out. And getting Felipe, we're going to see a quick foul as he got into the back of Konradsen, who is the one that hit the cross.
Steve may have pointed it out, but Steve's not sure that he got the name pronunciation right, so it's a good time to remind everybody that a lot of teams at the Dallas Cup, a lot of foreign teams, we do our best, but we try to get some pronunciation help, and sometimes we get some, and sometimes we don't from the teams. But if we do get somebody's name wrong, just know that we apologize, and we're doing our best here.
Well said. It is certainly with no other ulterior motive other than lack of extra information.
Or knowledge of Portuguese or of
or Danish.
The Danish language or any of the others. 21 countries here, Owen, at the Dallas Cup.
Quick throw in. Kubali. Header. Back post. It's perfect, and it's the substitute, Arinze. It took 90 seconds of the second half for Midtjylland to find the equalizer. 2-2 and all to play for here in the second half of this semifinal. And Midtjylland picking up right where they left off. And it's the same provider.
Yep, Konradsen again from the right side. And that is a good ball there. Look, he's got a lot of space to line up that cross, and he hits a beauty. And Arinze in just a few minutes ago from about 10 yards. Well, Owen, how many times have you seen a match? 4 goals, all headers.
Not many, I have to say. And it's a different team. It's the same club, but we've seen this narrative happen with Midtjylland at this tournament 2 years ago, where they showed they can come back from a deficit against a really good team, and they've done it again, albeit with a new group.
Hey, that's a good moment there from John Azari, the Sao Paulo goalkeeper, because Oda Kunle was about to get on that ball. He had the defender beat for pace.
The interesting part about your 4 goals with the head, Steve, comment is that both of Sao Paulo's were on set pieces, and both of Midtjylland's were on open play. And in both cases, we had similar characters. Mateus has scored both for the Brazilians, and Conradson has been the provider, the distributor of both from that right side, curling it in with his right foot, finding the head first of Odakunle in the late stages of the first half, and now Arinze at the very early moments of the second.
And I could be misremembering. I just feel like the same thing happened semifinal and finals when we saw Midtjylland 2 years ago, in that one team was in control. It wasn't Midtjylland, and then they worked their way into the match. They adjust their tactics a little bit, and they end up winning.
The ball comes down. Arinze drops it back, taking a step, and the left-footed effort by Johannesson. Always rising, never looked like it was going to test João Nazari in the Sao Paulo goal.
Yeah, he got a little look from Odakunle there because, I don't think he was shooting from the best angle. I think maybe if you just blast that ball across the face of the goal, look for the far post, Odakunle's lurking in there.
Good header there. Arinze's made his impact felt, scoring and now helping win back possession. That's his first goal of the tournament. And Midtjylland now has scored more than one in every match they've played here at the 2025 Dallas Cup. 6 in the first, 3 in the second, and now 2 in their third and fourth matches, including this semifinal, with more to come.
Arinze doing a good job there, being a nice physical presence. And as the ball comes out of the back, nice ball from the captain, Bier. And then it's Arinze just shielding the ball as it comes off the defender, making sure his team gets its second corner kick tonight.
Johannesson with he was about to. A referee blew his whistle because there was some jostling going on. And now we're going to have a scolding. And that was against Felipe, who's basically been instructed, you got to knock that off.
Are we wondering what language you're speaking out there?
The cross on the corner, curling toward the near post, headed away. And a race for it. Getting there first is Christensen. Tete trying to catch Christensen out after he was second best for the first ball. Brings it down, settles. Now we'll cut it back into the middle. Pauline out to the right. Felisberto. We'll go back now to midfield. Here's Osorio. Interesting, the Sao Paulo defense was not pressured much at all until suddenly they were for 2.
Oh, and I think Sao Paulo's got to start thinking about how they might create chances. Because it's been 30 minutes since they've had anything threatening on the Midtjylland goal.
And those both came on set pieces. They had a couple of forays early in the first half with some through balls that were somewhat dangerous, and there was one from Salen who read the ball poorly, but in the end, it didn't lead to a chance on goal. Is Odakunle with the foul. Isak not happy about that, and now he's going to get perhaps a talking to from the referee for maybe a few gestures beyond what needed to be for that foul.
I mean, it's a pretty clear foul, and the referee's blown the whistle. And
Puerto Rican referee Jose Torres has been in charge of this one from the beginning. And I know that sounds like an obvious statement, but how many times have we seen referees get caught and sort of the game gets away from him? He's very much been in control early.
Yeah, no, I think he's managed the match very well.
Isak pings one forward, headed by Nicolas, but one back by Midtjylland. Flicked on. Tornvig, Arinze sprinting in, tried to cut it back for Odakunle. It just took a touch. I think Isak got enough of that one to deny maybe finding Odakunle. Long ball, maybe had a chance for Tete, but the goalkeeper, Salen, was able to run and just smash that one into the far east side stands.
Well, Salen starting with a good aggressive high position there, and that if you start that aggressively high out, it makes a play like that pretty easy.
He'll get the ball back from his captain.
It makes the choice pretty easy, doesn't it? I mean, if you're standing under 6, now you got to think about it a little bit. But if you're standing 16 yards out, ball squirts through there, back behind the last line of defense, it's a pretty easy choice. Just go get it.
Overgaard with the foul as he latched on right in front of the referee. A little too easy there. Here's the cross coming in, short and easily claimed by the goalkeeper, Salin. He thought about rolling it quickly. Boy, Conradson wanted it. Sometimes you have second thoughts as a goalkeeper of not throwing a seemingly open player into coverage. And Arize gets the ball. Referee's been in control, but let a few things go as far as some contact shoves and shoulder-to-shoulder challenges. They get the ball down to Lodberg. Cuts back on his left, now goes back to his right, still on it. Good defending by Felipe. Tries to win the ball here. Does a great job. And then just knocks it out as he couldn't get past Conradson, who's made a huge impact down the right side. His throw-in wasn't great, though. It's one away. And now Hugo explodes out of that defensive space. Long run. Chips it down the left side. Did not give Tete the best moment there.
Good communication there. Good teamwork. Conradson just sort of interrupting the run there. Letting his teammate clean up the ball, or actually just letting his teammate let the ball roll out, put it into the touch, throw it in.
Christensen finds Orakunle. Overgaard back to Christensen out to the left. His quick early cross was headed away by Isak. Switch of play. Well brought down by Lodberg. Now he's going to run it Felipe again. Curls it. Oh, Arize was thinking about for the spectacular overhead kick. Didn't quite pull the trigger. Another ball in by Conradson, and this time he gets way too much on that one. Overcooks it.
Well,
and we're going to get a substitution here.
He gets a mulligan in my mind. If you provided two great assists on the right side, you're allowed one of those. Conradson, he's getting up and down that right side a lot. He's over now, right now, trying to get some fluids.
So it will be number 9, Felipe Guimaraes. I believe that's. Yeah, and that's taking out number 10, Poland. So the substitution for Sao Paulo now. Their first change coming here in the 56th minute. Lodberg had to play it back to Conradson. Wanted to take that shot earlier, did Lodberg, but just didn't have the angle or the space. Long ball, Bier. Oh, that's a tough ball for Conradson as he tried to take it off the upper part of his chest, and he'll go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Bier can hit a good long ball that time. He just overcooked it a little bit. I'll tell you what I really like about Midtjylland, though. They're very decisive. They're very direct. You know, they want 2 or 3 passes to establish possession, and then they're ready to get forward.
Felipe down the left. Along with the new Felipe. Guimaraes. And then the cross comes in, and there again is Mateus. He's been the most dangerous player on the field for Sao Paulo with 2 goals. And anytime the ball comes in the air near him, he is a threat. This one goes wide to the left, but not a bad service. And again, he's shown he can be very dangerous with his head.
I mean, today I think he's been one of the few, maybe the only dangerous player. Felisberto, the right back, just hasn't been able to get forward very much. Takada's put in some good balls from the left side, and he's good on the dribble, but he hasn't been a big influence.
Referee wants that foul that he awarded in favor of Sao Paulo back about 10 yards. That's why you heard a couple of whistles. Everybody looked up real quick when you hear that to see if there was a dust-up. There was not.
By the way, Sao Paulo, I mean, one of the most successful academies in Brazil. I mean, you talk about players, think about these names: Kaká, Cafu, Oscar, Milson, Lucas Moura. They all came out of that Sao Paulo academy. Some of those came through the super group back when Sao Paulo was winning in 95, 2009.
One of the big clubs in Brazil. They're trying to get to another Supergroup final. We've got to go through Midtjylland first. We are knotted up at 2 as we approach the hour mark.
I think Oda Kunle, maybe he came in a little injured, a little tired, because he hasn't been as much of an influence this half, has he?
Not as much. He was really noticeable for those final 10, 15 minutes of the first half.
As he came in, yeah.
He made it to the knockback touch now to the left side. A little bit of space for Johannesson. Cuts back on his right, still dancing. Slipped and fell. Boy, that would have been a highlight reel run as he danced past at least 2 Sao Paulo defenders. If he could have gotten that shot away, it would have been a brilliant moment. They do want a free kick over on the far side. But that was a heck of a run by Sofus Johannesson.
Well, we saw in the under-15 final, FC Dallas player Tumba Hali score on a play just like that. Just a terrific run right through the middle, little mazy dribbling run, and look at that. And you're right, it looked like he was just trying to set his feet for the shot.
A cross on that free kick was headed away. Midtjylland keeps possession, though. Tornvig will switch it back. Overgaard. Long ball out to the left. Johannesson has been noticeable here in the last few minutes. Now he brings one down again, goes down. Might have been looking for one there. He was off balance. I didn't think there was much in that contact at all.
No, I don't think Jose Torres, the Puerto Rican referee, even thought about it for a second, and he shouldn't have. I feel like it was just a little bit of clumsiness and a little bit of contact, and those two things adding up to the player falling inside the penalty area.
Now Midtjylland again on the attack. The cross coming in from the left-hand side. It was blocked. And now the referee has another conversation to be had here. I think we've seen from both teams players maybe reacting a little bit overzealously.
You think Johansson's just getting a little bit of a talking to about maybe going down to the penalty area a little
I wonder
easily?
about that, yeah. Because there wasn't a whole lot in that. He's trying to say, look, he stepped on my foot.
Or is he just saying he just slipped? I'm not sure.
Well, either way, Torres has been pretty, I think, pretty good at addressing things early and not letting them fester. There's the pass in. Lodberg had a great chance to turn, couldn't get the ball to behave. He does survive with possession.
You know what I like about Torres so far is he hasn't really called those what you call bailout fouls, has
Yes. No, he's let the contact play, especially for sometimes when a player's looking for it to try to, as you would say, bail them out of a bad situation.
Yep.
The referee's going to hold here. We do have another substitution for Sao Paulo as number 17, Arnold Pena, is about to come in.
Looks like he's coming in for Takada.
FC's substitution in the 61st minute. Entering the field is number 17, Arnold Pena. Leaving the field is number 7, Kaiki Takada.
So Takada is out and Pena's in. And again, Midtjylland has had the ball in the Sao Paulo half for a majority of the second half so far. And really, Krubali and Bier have been pretty comfortable. We said that about Isaac and Osorio in the first half through this point in time, and then it switched. Well, right now, I can't remember how many times that Sao Paulo's really put the Midtjylland back line here in this half under duress. A long ball, Arize kind of gets in the back of him, and I think the referee let it out for a goal kick. Nicely done. Probably about right.
And Bier hits such a good ball with that backspin on it, checks up.
Near midfield, Overgaard. Good connection there by Arize. Arize floats from the front line back into the midfield quite a bit. Now a turnover, and this could lead to a break for Sao Paulo on the counter. Felipe. Nicolas out to Tete over on the left wing. Numbers back for Midtjylland. Good defending there. Conradson wants a goal kick. The flag does go up, and that will be exactly what it is. No, he's going to point to the corner flag? I think it is. It's going to be a corner. So I'll tell you this. For what looked like a chance for a fast break counter, Midtjylland got numbers back, and Sao Paulo maybe didn't go with the kind of breakneck speed we thought they would.
I just don't think they're really confident on the attack right now.
It looks like Midtjylland is going to make another substitution here shortly, but there will be a corner for Sao Paulo first. Where is Mateus? He is absolutely the biggest threat here. Krubali is all over him inside the penalty area. Cunha, is there now. Toward the post, and that makes it over the crossbar, so not a threatening service there.
Yeah, I don't think he read the wind very well. You look at the flags down in the corner, and it's blowing pretty significantly south to north.
So Midtjylland sub here as number 27, Alberto Velasquez, will come on. And Velasquez has been on the score sheet a couple of times against Real Madrid in their 2-2 draw. So another weapon off the bench for the Danes, and he replaces number 23, Sebastian Lodberg. Foul here called against Sao Paulo near midfield. Midtjylland will get a chance to go forward.
So far as the substitutions have come in for Midtjylland, they've really made a difference. First Odekunle, then Arinze, and now we'll see what Alberto Velasquez can bring to the game.
Nicolas got a yellow card just now, the first yellow, and Torres has been pretty lenient to stay with scoldings. But Nicolas got in front of a attempted restart within 10 yards intentionally, and so he will be the first caution of the match here in the 66th minute.
By the way, if the team stay level, there'll be 2 10-minute overtime periods, full time served, of course, and then penalty kicks if needed.
Arinze, Overgaard. Tried to go off the outside of the foot and sneak one in to Simon Christensen. A little too tight of a pass. Go all the way back to Krubali. Now a good read by Mateus, but it actually knocked it to Tornvig. Tornvig, who started at the top of the formation, now playing more in an attacking midfield role, did well there.
Yeah, that was really good skill there from Tornvig, keeping that ball in pressure in the midfield.
Well, then Bier tried to make a long diagonal ball for Velasquez and couldn't connect with him. But it will be a throw, and now Sao Paulo is racing to make another substitution. They won't do it on this throw-in, but there'll soon be another change. As it looks like Samuel is getting ready to come on. It's still not ready to go, so it looks like Sao Paulo will have to to play their goal kick here. And they play it very short, allowing the press to come from Midtjylland. And a turnover. Velasquez, he couldn't connect with Tornvig there. That was good press by the Danes. Once they won the ball back, they couldn't keep it under that control.
Yeah, but there again, it's the Danes being very vertical. As soon as Overgaard gets that ball, intercepts it along the right side, he immediately plays a 25, 30-yard ball up toward Velasquez. You're right, the connection was missed, but I just like how vertical they are, how they get vertical so quick.
Krubali hustling back to keep the ball in play here. That was almost at the end line. 68th minute, 2-2. The early goal, 90 seconds into the second half from James Arinze, tied the score, and that's where we've been since. And barring a set piece from Mateus, it feels like the next goal is leaning towards Midtjylland than Sao Paulo.
I think it's felt that way for a long time, for sure.
So Samuel about to come on for the Brazilians.
But didn't we talk early in the match about how the Brazilians had control about it, but also about how momentum can swing quickly in these matches.
A steal from Overgaard. He'll cross, looking for Tornvig, and that header is right into the positioning of Joao Nazari. Very nice save. Pretty comfortable in the end for the Sao Paulo goalkeeper. And there was a brief moment where they tried to counter, but again,
Conradsen's had a good match.
Yeah, he got back with that Midtjylland backline recovering well.
Yeah.
Out of steal, Nicholas blocked by Velasquez, who's dropped in. Conradsen with a little collision. Well, play continues. Again, we have a player looking for a call they're not getting.
I think Velasquez got the ball. Players came together afterwards. They actually weren't even that close as Velasquez got the ball.
So the substitution is made. Samuel is on. And Hugo comes out. He had a really noticeable first half. Steve, what did you think about his second? Number 5 for Sao Paulo.
Just like Overgaard, maybe not quite as influential. Maybe just, you know, we're 69 minutes into the match. I think much better first half for both of them than second half. Not that they've done anything wrong, just, you know, can't quite be as active. Don't forget, again, this is, you know, the 4th game in 5 days for these teams.
Oh boy, the Midtjylland bench in technical area very upset here. Referee's trying to calm everybody down as Conradsen is rolling around on the floor.
Well,
and the technical area for Midtjylland exploded after that call.
Well, Samuel Guimaraes just into the game. I mean, that wasn't smart because the player's down, and Guimaraes definitely gave him a little something extra. You know, there's VAR out here, and one of the things that players at this level probably aren't used to is VAR. You're going to get caught on things like that. And look, that's exactly what Jose Torres is saying. He's like, if there's something else there, we'll find it.
A yellow card has been issued to Sao Paulo player number 18.
So 18, Tete is going to get the yellow. Let's take a look at the replay here.
Beg your pardon, I think I identified the wrong player. I'm going to watch right here.
Sort of a kick in the back. I don't know if it was...
There wasn't a lot of force in it, but...
Super violent, but didn't have a good angle at the ball.
It wasn't necessary.
So a 71st minute yellow card, second of the match for Midtjylland, or excuse me, for Sao Paulo in the span of about 5 minutes time. And now we're going to get one back as Overgaard stops a play and eats a yellow card to deny Sao Paulo of a promising looking attack at about 40 yards out.
Overgaard's been good. I feel like he had some cover behind him, though. I'm not really sure he needed to do that. I mean, look at that. Koulibaly's right there. Bier, who's had a good game, he's right there. I think that's a second ago you asked me about, you know, 2 of the holding midfielders, and I think Overgaard's just gotten a little tired, and I think that was just, you know, tired and frustrated, and just he just had a moment, you know, as they say.
In the last 8 or 9 minutes, we've had more yellow cards and substitutions than scoring opportunities.
And the thing is, if nobody scores here, these players are going to have to go through another 20 minutes.
It'll be 2 10-minute extra time periods and then possibility of penalty kicks.
Watch this Felisberto service. Remember, it was about this area that turned into the second goal from Matias.
Here's the service. He's looking for the same guy, but Koulibaly with a good header. And then Arinze, a second effort.
Boy, every dead ball is aimed for Matias, isn't it?
Every single one. Johannesson brings it out past midfield, tried to dive through 2, grabs his right shin. He's down in a heap. Referee sees nothing wrong with it. It did look like Johannesson was trying to get through a bad position where he was outnumbered. And now a flat ball picked off by Velasquez, and he'll play it quickly on the inside. Tornvig. Johannesson seems to have recovered quickly. Isak did a good enough job with the header and then cleared with help from Osorio.
There's some openings there, Owen, and just maybe that last little bit of composure missing from the Midtjylland players.
Johansson's got to be careful there, Steve. It's the second time he's gone down, this time holding his leg more and showing a little bit more, or at least demonstration of pain, but he did get up pretty quickly when Midtjylland was on the counterattack, and I don't know if that goes over real well with the referee.
I think it's gotten, you just said it a minute ago, it's gotten really physical in the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Conradson, can he have a third assist? He has 2 already. And this time his ball forward was blocked. Arinze has been a nice introduction for Midtjylland. Now out to Velasquez. He hits it first time when he had the space, and Arinze kept his run going. Oh, Osorio grabbed him, and that maybe wasn't necessary because it did look like Felipe had him covered getting back, but I don't know if Osorio knew that. And so now Midtjylland with a very advanced free kick just to the right side of the penalty area. That's going to be like a very truncated corner kick.
I don't see the Midtjylland players making the case, but that's the same thing Overgaard just got a yellow card for. If I'm a Midtjylland player, I'm saying, why is that grab on this side a yellow card, but over here much closer to goal, it's not.
It was clearly an intentional foul.
And the intent being, let me foul this man right now before he gets into the penalty area.
We have a substitution here for Midtjylland, as that'll be it for Nikolai Tornvig, who's been a nice player today. And Darius Katak, number 14, coming in here in the 75th minute.
Entering the match is number 14, Darius Katak.
So both teams going to their bench liberally now.
Free kick. Johannesson curls it in, almost found the head of Kubali. Took a deflection off of the Midtjylland center back. He wanted to say there was a touch from Sao Paulo, but it will be a Brazilian throw.
I mean, I thought he had Kubali there. It's a good delivery. Sharp, accurate. Watch how close he comes. Kubali comes to getting his head on that. Good job there by Osorio, the center back from Sao Paulo, just doing enough to get a body on him so that Kubali doesn't get a good clean header there.
Midtjylland have really taken, I think, and swayed this game in their favor since about the 35-minute mark on, maybe 33 since that first substitution. They've used their bench well. Referee lets it go, and then a little kick out. Getting clipped was Arinze. And is that a sign of fatigue coming as you start to see some of those reach-out kind of fouls?
Probably. It's also a sign that Arinze is a darn good player who's coming to this game and is really making an impact. And how about this? If Midtjylland didn't get it right a minute ago, they're going to get a do-over because it's pretty much the exact same spot as that last free kick.
What would you say, about 5 yards wider?
Yeah,
it was a little closer to the line, but
You're
it's
right.
the same angle.
Yep.
If anything, having a couple of more yards might give them a little easier up and down if you're trying to drop it. Although Johannesson put that one pretty close to Kubali in the last attempt. So here we are again. Could this be the breakthrough? Midtjylland going from 2-0 down to level. Could they get the lead here in the 76th minute? They're certainly going to try. And Sao Paulo, who watched their 2-goal advantage disappear, trying to hang on and get one back. The cross comes in. The header defended, I think, pretty well by Osorio. And the captain for Sao Paulo urging his team out. Ball sent back forward again. 2 runners, a little flick on, this time from Odakunle. And a good save by João Nazari. Midtjylland with a couple of testers there.
Yeah, but these services from the right side in the run of play and the free kicks certainly testing that Sao Paulo back line.
Cross coming in, this time headed away by the Midtjylland defense. And into the space, Arinze running. Osorio's there first. And he does the smart thing just to knock it away, not to try to dance his way past Arinze, who has been a handful since coming on here in the second half.
He's covering a lot of ground, too, because he's coming from deeper lying midfield positions. But once he gets going, he's adding a lot of pressure to that Sao Paulo back line.
Overgaard out to the right. Conradson looks up, took a deflection. That should be a corner kick. Yes, indeed. And Midtjylland starting to add up their opportunities to hit the ball into the box. Steve, Odakunle, I think, just made a substitution signal from the penalty area. You picked up on something earlier in the second half after his really dynamic introduction late in the first half.
Yeah, I think, he's probably, it looks to me like he's certainly starter quality, but He came into this match, so you wonder, was he carrying a little bit of an injury, or is he just worn out from the week?
Well, they haven't made a rush to change yet, but he definitely did the little 2 hands over, the universal signal of get me out of here. He's standing in the goal right now in a clearly offside position. He's going to switch out. They play it short. Johannesson did not hit the best delivery, but it was deflected out. He'll get another opportunity. He put his hands up very apologetically. Just looking at Midtjylland, they still have a couple of substitutes running down on the north end with only about 11 minutes to go plus stoppages. This corner kick could be a huge one. Ball goes short this time. They play to the top of the area. The shot from Overgaard. It comes down almost to Velasquez, excuse me. It was blocked. Arinze kept it alive against Nicolas. Gets grabbed. And that's going to be a foul against the Sao Paulo midfielder. And boy, the intensity just keeps ramping up here as we get closer and closer to 90 minutes.
Well, I think Jose Torres, the Puerto Rican referee, has done a good job, but at some point, he's going to have to show another card for the repeated fouling.
So again, this is another free kick in an area that will act pretty similarly to a corner kick. It's about equal with the 18 outside left, but it'll be a pretty good angle for a service here from Johannesson.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more valuable than a corner kick because this is the kind of place where right footer can whip a ball into that back post, and if nobody touches it, you've got to honor the shots as they come in, but nobody touches it, sometimes it can slip right into that back post untouched.
Definitely an easier angle than the corner flag for an Olympico. And another conversation with some jockeying for position and hand fighting and wrestling, and we've seen the referee pull players aside for warnings a couple of times throughout the match.
And this is my point, the talking tos, at some point they lose their effectiveness because players get the feeling you're only going to get a talking to.
Krubali and Osorio, 2 big center backs jockeying for position, and that's exactly what Johannesson tried to do. He took a shot, this time always sailed over, and the referee's holding up because the shot came off one of the advertising boards back onto the field. So Paulo wanted to play quickly and try to send a counterattack very fast.
Yeah, that's a wasted opportunity for me. I think you serve that ball into the back post and get, some of the Sao Paulo players moving back toward their own goal. It's a hard ball to deal with.
If the match is still tied at the end of extra time, kicks from the penalty spot as per IFAB laws will decide.
As we're inside the final 9 minutes of normal time, the public address announcers letting everybody know of the added time and penalty protocols if this game remains level. Arinze went down a little too easily on that one. He got a little contact from Felipe, but not enough. Now Mateus was looking for that through ball. It was blocked by Krubali. Krubali did a nice job there. Johannesson spins and wins the throw. Boy, Isak celebrated. That was a pretty good battle and a good defensive play by their center back. But again, Isak getting pulled all the way out to the sideline. That's really not where you want your center backs. Overgaard wins it back. Haven't seen as much from Bier here in the second half. Hasn't had to. Midtjylland has had the ball farther forward.
Midtjylland's been in total control, I think.
Here's the run by Conradson. Cuts it back, deflected. The goalkeeper will handle that one. João Nazari.
I mean, Conradson has put in a shift, man. He's up and down that right side.
I love how the substitute here, Velasquez, has recognized that and come back to cover, not making Conradson run 50, 60 yards right away. Now they'll switch. That's good team play. Now Felipe. Pass up. I think Tete kept that one in. The Midtjylland players were appealing for it to be a throw-in being out of play. I don't think it ever crossed the line. The assistant referee has the best angle. They'll continue down to the far wing. The cross coming in, too close for Salin. As that one from Arnold Pena, who we haven't said his name a whole lot. He's been isolated over in the right wing since coming on. as he was subbed in the 62nd minute, and it's been 20 minutes. Maybe because Midtjylland's had the ball, I don't think their right wing has had much to do.
I mean, the attacking players in general in the second half haven't said much about Macias.
On the same foot, though, it is still tied. So for as much as it feels like Midtjylland's in control, they don't have anything yet. And Osorio wins the ball against Velasquez. Clever little tip, but, oh, Nicholas. Oh, I don't know there. It was clearly a throw, and then he goes down. The referee, I wonder if he got an errant hand up high as he grabs his face. We're going to get a substitution here for Midtjylland. And I wonder if this is Odakunle. Odakunle's still making hand signals, but he doesn't look like he's coming off the field. So maybe he was just giving the sign to steal or maybe bunt one. And they have not yet made the change. There it is. Johannesson finally coming off. He took his time. And coming in for his replace is Malik Engholm.
Leaving the match is number 10, Sophus Johansson. Entering the match is number 24, Malik Pimpong.
That'll be played back to Kubali. And then a long ball forward by the goalkeeper. We're down to the final 5.5 minutes plus stoppages. Here in the second half of this first semifinal. Another one still to come between Botafogo and Tigres. Another team from Brazil and a team from Mexico. And a foul here and a yellow card. Odakunle will be the latest to go in the box here in the 85th minute.
Oh, he had a big run up the left side from Simon Christensen. Odakunle should have played him in, and he got himself in trouble and got himself a yellow card.
A yellow card has been issued to FC Midtjylland player number 20.
I don't know. I think he just slipped. He got a little contact from behind, and he slipped, and he ends up going into the Brazilian player. Didn't see much on that replay that maybe deserved a yellow card.
So over the last substitution on the official roster, we've got Malik Engholm, but on our information, they announced it as Pimpong, his last name. And we said, as Steve mentioned earlier, we do the absolute best we can. We have great work from our Dallas Cup staff to help us out. But it is an international youth tournament. And so not everything is quite as well reported. There's a little hold-up play and a foul. Velasquez down the right, cutting into the middle. Oh, he went right through the legs of Samuel. It's quickly played out to the right. Conradson kept it alive after a good pass forward by Engholm. He tried to go off the leg of Isak for a throw, and the Sao Paulo center back. Oh, there's a giveaway. Aridze, he had the goalkeeper absolutely rooted to his spot, but Aridze's shot from the top of the D goes wide to the right.
Remember, it was Aridze whose header in the 47th minute was the equalizer for Midtjylland. I'm just so impressed with the way Midtjylland, now that we've seen them 3 times over the last couple of years in semifinals or finals, how they start the game and they look a bit overwhelmed, but they're just, I think they're just playing conservative for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then they just slowly, surely assume control, and they've done it again here tonight. I mean, easily the better team in my mind, Owen, after maybe 15 minutes. And the only thing that since then that Sao Paulo's really had was the Macias second header on second goal off the free kick.
Ball stayed in play there. I thought it might have curled out, but Aridze got to it and then gave it away. Velasquez almost stepped in front of Nicholas there. Felipe.
We've seen some tired players now, aren't we? So, some slips.
Boy, it just looks like you're seeing it a bit more on the Sao Paulo club, though. Not every player, but some frustration and maybe from that fatigue. Overgaard I think Midtjylland sensed that they have a chance here to win this one. Of course, Sao Paulo does it well, but just with that momentum, the quick attack, it seems like Sao Paulo's been looking for that trying a moment to catch them off guard. Pena down the right side. Running against Pierre. Krubali defended very well to deny that service into Mateus.
I don't know, and I see it a little differently. I think Sao Paulo just hasn't found a good way to get into the attacking third. And again, I'm going to say, at this point, when's the next yellow card coming from Sao Paulo? Because it's just there's a lot of fouling going on right now from the Brazilian team. I think you're right. They're tired. They're frustrated. But at some point, referee Jose Torres, who's given a couple of soft yellow cards, I think, to Midtjylland.
What another massive ball ping there from the captain, Pierre. Conradson got there first, headed it, but just didn't do much with it. Goalkeeper Gerard Nazari there. This game is really close, depending on how much stoppage time, to heading to 20 minutes of extra time. And that would be interesting too, Steve, because you mentioned all the fatigue you're seeing in the fouling. What do these two groups of players have for another 20 additional minutes? That's cleared away by Isak. Mateus with the control from Nicholas. Tried to go back to him. It was blocked. Again, Midtjylland quickly getting their numbers back to deny the two frontmen for Sao Paulo.
To talk a minute ago, he had two players at good angles. I think he really couldn't figure out what he wanted to do, and he just sort of played it right in the middle of both of them.
We're in the 90th minute. Long ball for Krubali. Felisberto was able to shepherd that one out and win a throw. He'll quickly heave it up the far right side. Challenge there from the substitute, Katak. But it was a Sao Paulo throw-in again. Mateus turns. Oh, he's frustrated. He didn't hit a very good pass, but he also was not seeing a whole lot of movement off the ball. And the board goes up for stoppage time here. 4 minutes. And there's a giveaway. We haven't seen Overgaard hit a lot of bad balls there. But that was one, again, that attrition is starting to show from everybody.
Sure. And it's not going to get any better in 20 minutes of extra time.
Who can summon the will? Who can dig deep into some hidden reserves? There's a long shot in. Oh, Pena from just inside the right side of the penalty area just flashes it wide to the left post. That had some very nervy Danes watching that one go wide.
And you said Pena hasn't had a lot to say about the game, but we almost said a lot there.
That one just felt like it had a chance. Never did good on target. Long ball again as the game is really stretched out. Route one from Conradson, but forced into a claim from the goalkeeper, Nazari. And he'll punt this one. They're going very direct right now. Not a lot of building and connecting play. It's just send it to your front men as fast as you can. A giveaway by Krubali. And now Sao Paulo. Felipe. Good little hesitation move. Plays it forward. Mateus turns on his strong right foot. A sliding challenge. And there is Pierre, who hasn't had to do a whole lot, but he was ready when called upon. Blocking that one. It will be a corner kick for Sao Paulo. They're going to go short and quick before Midtjylland can set up. But a great defensive play by Velasquez, and he smashes it back to midfield. That one actually played against Sao Paulo because of the good defensive play by Alberto Velasquez. Long ball forward from the goalkeeper, headed down by Overgaard. Arinze has space. The game is very much stretched. And it'll be a throw as that one was tipped off of Felipe. And boy, Osorio, the Brazilian captain, is super upset. I don't know if he was yelling at the referee or one of his teammates on the far side. Long ball, Midtjylland headed down by Velasquez. A little bit of room. Oda Kunle loaded up for the shot. I don't know if he intended to, tried to fake it. And oh, the physicality continues here. And the frustration.
Well, you talked about how
Osorio's hot.
We talked about how direct and vertical Midtjylland has been, and it just about paid off there in the 93rd minute. Oda Kunle, I think you're right. He was winding up big, but Nice job by the defender there.
And now Sao Paulo's goalkeeper taking his time. We saw him play quick. Referees saying we're going to add some time on here. He doesn't get any more discipline, but that goal kick is dropped right down to Arinze, and Midtjylland can go if they want. Here's the substitute coming on, Engholm, excuse me. Cuts it back. Overgaard into the box, headed down. Osorio raising up to do that. Back in. Velasquez. Odakunle. Said he was signaling about 10 minutes ago, maybe, as down goes Velasquez. Not much in that. No real appeals from Midtjylland, but the final minute of second half stoppage time. Whenever you see somebody go down in the penalty area, just wonder. Now ball bounces through. Pena running against Bier. Cuts back into the box now. The pass too far. And that will go out for a goal kick, and now Midtjylland wants to go fast.
They've got about 30 seconds to do something. It's funny, Owen, because you feel like, the Brazilians are just hanging on, but you also feel like they got a chance to score on the other side through Pena.
Long ball, Odakunle gets a step, tries to get a foot out. It's pawed away by the goalkeeper. His pass back across, and it's just not quite there. And Odakunle collapses knowing just how close he was to the winning goal. He couldn't get his foot on. The goalkeeper hesitated. And we are going to 20 additional minutes of extra time. Odakunle is beside himself.
And it's a goalkeeper over there, the Brazilian goalkeeper, João Nazari, who's going over to help him up and offer a little condolences because, I'm not sure how Odakunle missed that one. He was in, past the goalkeeper, just couldn't stretch out enough to poke that one home and win the game with the very last kick.
So a quick recap of this one, as it has been a fun one so far. 2 quick goals in the first 26 minutes. 7th minute goal off a corner kick. Mateus with the header. Then in the 26th minute, Mateus again, this time on a free kick cross from long range from Felisberto. That was a beautiful service from the Brazilian right back. And then the substitution that really changed things. 33rd minute, Odakunle came on, Christian Boyi came out, and it felt like that really turned the tides. And then 6 minutes later, in the 39th minute, it was indeed Odakunle who scored on a cross from, it was Conradson's delivery, and that made it 2-1 going into the half. And then 90 seconds, just in the 47th minute into the second half, Arinze, who came on at halftime, replacing Frederick Bunton, and he scores on a header on a cross from, you guessed it, Mathis Conradson. And that's where we're at, Steve. So not a ton, a couple of things after that, but a lot of energy used for both sides in the second 45.
Yeah, for sure. I think Midtjylland on the balance of play has been the better team. I've got Midtjylland with 10 shots, Sao Paulo with 6, 4 corner kicks for each side. I would say that after the first 10 to 12 minutes, Midtjylland took control of the game. Not in a big way in terms of a lot of goal mouth action and forcing a lot of shots from João Nazari, or forcing a lot of saves rather, from Brazilian goalkeeper João Nazari. But definitely more in control. I think the Brazilians didn't really have a way. They were playing Matias as a target in the first half, but didn't really have enough of the ball to even get that going in the second half. That said, still a couple of dangerous moments off those corner kicks. And look, if you can't defend set pieces, you're in trouble. And in the first half, there was definitely some trouble from Midtjylland defending those set pieces, although a lot of it's just good deliveries and that big man in the middle for Sao Paulo, Matias.
You mentioned the goalkeeper for Sao Paulo, João Nazari. I think he had to make a couple of saves, but they were pretty routine other than the ones that he had to pick out of the net. Same for Liam Salen on the other side for Midtjylland. Can you pick out a whole lot of opportunities where the Danish goalkeepers had to make a save?
Not really. The only real thing he had to worry about in the second half was because he was having this aggressive high position, he was able to come out and knock away some of those balls a step or two outside the penalty area. He did that 2 or 3 times, but again, that's just good aggressive starting position there, playing a high line. I think he's had Pretty quiet second half, especially, although I think you're right, that late effort for Pena had him just a bit bothered and worried.
It definitely caused our eyebrows to raise up as it was very, very close to finding its way home. The assistant referee is doing a perfunctory check of the nets to make sure nothing's come loose. They don't want a ball going through the net to make it look like they didn't go in or out.
So I think if I'm Midtjylland, what I'm trying to do is work the right side even a little bit more. Velasquez has come in, so he's giving some relief on that side in terms of defending. But Conradson, he's so good at getting up that side. Assuming he's still got the wheels and the lungs to get up there, he really delivers a good ball. So I think I'm trying to work that side a little bit more. And I'm also, frankly, trying to work the referee. In fact, I see two players from Midtjylland talking to him right now, asking. There seems to be a little higher bar on one side for yellow cards than on the other side. And, I'm sort of working that angle as well and trying to make the Brazilians aware that, maybe they can't foul as much around the penalty area. That might open something up just a little bit.
It feels like the Midtjylland's also been a little more aggressive with their substitutions so far. Now, we'll see how that plays out in this one. But the fact that they've gotten a couple more bodies from the first half on into through the second half out there, maybe they'll have a little bit more energy in the tank. But we saw how much this game turned into long ball battles in direct route one kind of stuff with the fatigue late, just trying to get it forward. It'll be interesting to see if either of these teams tries to establish the ball again and then try to see what they can do rather than just try to see what happens by sending it long.
Yeah, but I don't think so. Not on Midtjylland either, but because I think they're vertical as it is.
Well, they did it right off the opening kickoff here in the first half of extra time. And they are going to go after Felisberto and Velasquez. Velasquez with a foul as he lost that sort of shoving match between himself and the Brazilian right back.
So interesting, Velasquez now on the left side. A while ago he was partnering with Conradson on the right.
Correct, and Arinze is over there.
So maybe that is the idea, to sort of tilt the attack a little bit more to the right side.
There's still at least one more possible substitute for Midtjylland walking around by himself. Very lone figure over in the north corner. And there are still a couple of Sao Paulo players standing almost at their technical area, still wearing the substitutes pennies, but they are not doing a lot of running around down on the south end like they normally were during the game. But, if you've been warming up for the better part of 90 minutes, you probably don't need to do a whole lot more. A free kick here, and Sao Paulo with a chance to let Felisberto try to find his guy. It's worked twice. He's been the provider of one of the two goals for Mateus.
It's very close to where he hit the last service that turned into the Mateus goal.
The cross this time is not as effective as it goes into the first line of defense. He'll hit it again. Under hit and cleared. Engholm with a good header away. And then it's flicked back in. Oh, the goalkeeper, Arinze, wanted a quick punt. He was 2v2 with two of the outside defenders. The center backs were still coming back. I see what James Arinze wanted. Midtjylland's goalkeeper took a minute. Now it's one on the play forward. And it'll be a throw as, again, Arinze goes down. We've seen both teams a couple of times just get waved off of what they thought were maybe ticky-tack kind of fouls. The referee's not been interested in those. Here's Felisberto again. He'll play it up the right wing. Blocked on the chest of Christensen. Katak defending. And a good win by Christensen. He'll play it right up the middle. Oda Kunle scored the very important first goal for Midtjylland on their two-goal comeback. Pierre, long ball. He's got quite an array of long passes in him, and that one veered too close to the goalkeeper. I think he was trying to find Conradson out in the right wing.
A lot of the Midtjylland attack is just establish possession, find Pierre, let him hit a long ball.
Pierre with a good header as he cut in front of the ball that was intended for Mateus. And then a foul here.
It's a pretty clumsy foul from Ping Pong.
That was Samuel that was on the rough end of that collision. Isak. Osorio. Flares it out to the far side. And that was smashed away by Arinze. Will be a Sao Paulo throw. And any surprise, Steve, that the first 4 minutes seem a little low energy after 90-plus minutes?
No, of course not. I was just about to comment that the front four are so organized in the press for Midtjylland. Guimaraes, number 8 for Sao Paulo, I saw him the other day. Another one who's a really good connector. He's really calm on the ball, but the press organized in a way that they're really keeping him off the ball, and that's not really letting Brazil get into the midfield and then into the final third.
By the way, the second Gordon Jago Supergroup semifinal between Botafogo and Tigres is scheduled to start at 7:30 Central Time. It is almost 10 past 7 now. And we still have 15 minutes of play and then possibly penalties. And that's the part of tournament play when you have matches stacked up. Those two teams will have to alter their preparations a little bit. Here's a foray to the box. Salen was out. His defenders did a nice job of not letting any of the Sao Paulo runners get free on their own.
Sloppy turnover there from Overgaard, who's had a good match otherwise, but it just looks to me like he's exhausted.
Arinze looks like he has some energy as he runs down the right. Tries to pick out Kunle, but his pass was a bit too ambitious. Picked off. And now a long run the other way. Felipe. How much does he have left in the tank? Flares it. And the goalkeeper will be able to clean without contest.
I mean, you certainly want, considering that there hasn't been a goal in this game since the 47th minute, you got to think about keeping your best penalty kick takers on the field. But for either team now, you just wonder if they've got some more fresh legs to bring in. And there's one more substitution that's allowed for.
Well, it's going to happen, Steve.
Well, so both teams, by the way, in this tournament, you can use 6 subs. And it looks like Midtjylland about to use theirs. And
Cassio Neto for Sao Paulo about to come on. Number 13. He's being introduced. And the player leaving, it took a while.
And the Sao Paulo substitution in the 6th minute of extra time. Entering the field is number 13. Cassio Neto. Leaving the field is number 18.
So Tete is out. Couldn't see his number from the far side. He's making the long walk around. And then a substitution for Midtjylland as Oppenhagen. It's Albert Oppenhagen coming on.
Overgaard going out.
And we think we started to see some signs of just how tired Overgaard was. So Oppenhagen is in. And he looks like he's playing in that defensive midfield role. So we have about 13 minutes. 3 minutes in this half, and then they'll switch ends to play another 10 minutes. Here's Arinze. Pings it to the middle. Velasquez gets it back. Now Kunle. Here is the substitute, Oppenhagen. Switches play. Oh, and then a mistimed ball there from Krubala. He couldn't believe it. It's going to be a throw-in for Sao Paulo. The ball's on the field.
Well, you just feel a little bit for these players. 4th game in 5 days. They all just look absolutely knackered to me. I'm seeing hands on knees. And again, imagine, Owen, if it were sunny today.
Oh, it's already humid enough as it is. More so it's been than earlier in this week in Dallas. But the temperatures, if you had the sun beating down on you too, it still would be up. We're late enough in the spring here in North Texas where that's well after 7:30 local time. And of course, this game starting at 5 o'clock would have been in the heat of the afternoon. So it could have been worse, as you mentioned. Very good point. It's going to be a humid but decent temperature for the second semifinal here. They won't have to worry about the sun at all. Long ball forward by Krubali. Velasquez brings it down. Felisberto. Velasquez, the shot, and that one curls wide of the far post. Not by much. And the Danish left-sided midfielder playing in the attack right now, disappointed he didn't find the target.
But don't you feel like if Odekinle would have just stuck out his right foot there, you saw it on the replay, all he had to do was stick out his right foot, and that ball is past Yao Nazari into the goal.
Now a foul and a free kick as Nicholas, who's played a lot, he's been one of the 99-plus minute players today for Sao Paulo. Running that midfield. Felisberto looks off the first pass, plays it long into a little bit of space. That's an excellent ball forward. And then the flag is up, and that's why, because he's offside. And then, of course, a shot well after the play. Upset the Midtjylland players. The referee kind of calming everybody down. I think the Midtjylland coach wanted something there. Well, they restart. And again, right up the gut. Odekunle, almost uncontested, brings that one down. Out to Arinze on the right. He floats it back into the box. Up to head it away was Isak. Conradson played it inside. Katak, his pass was blocked. And there it is. The first 10 minutes have been played right on the dot. And again, the only thing we've seen other than some hopeful long balls is happening near the Sao Paulo penalty area.
Yeah, one shot in the added time so far. That was from Midtjylland. Referee out there trying to get the teams just to switch sides and trying to dissuade them from going over and taking a little semi-timeout.
This is not a hydration break, although a couple of players trying to take advantage of it. Looks like Sao Paulo is going to make yet one more substitution as number 14, Henrique Bell, is about to come on. And here he goes as he steps on, and that will do it for, I think that's Felipe, their left back. Yeah, he played a lot. So Felipe, number 6, is out, and Henrique Bell is in.
Substitution at the end of the first overtime period. Entering the field is number 14.
And again, just fresh legs might spell the difference here.
So they switch ends, and now Sao Paulo attacking the north end of the stadium. Velasquez putting some pressure on the back line, but Osorio handled that very well.
I think both those center backs for Brazil, Osorio and Isaac, have been very good today.
Neto. Hands up from Conradson. Be a free kick for Sao Paulo. The Brazilians want a yellow card. The referee just going to give a free kick. Does feel as though there might be a breakdown from somebody. There might be a goal left in this, but there is just the pace has dropped, the sheer tiredness and fatigue showing.
No, the tempo has definitely fallen, as you said, but the thing is, to create the opportunity for a mistake, these teams got to get into the final third in some kind of effective way. And I think Midtjylland has been able to do that mostly through the long ball, so they're at least creating the opportunity for the back line from Brazil to make a mistake.
And they've kept 4 players with possession. They've kept 4 attacking players up, Midtjylland, for those long balls, so that they're not trying to win a 1-on-4 or 1-on-3 kind of situation. Osorio wins the header on the long ball forward. And then a high boot called against Katak. And so Sao Paulo will get a chance to slow things down a little bit, set it up, and get the restart going to Henrique Bell.
And you do get the feeling that Sao Paulo would be the team more comfortable going into penalty kicks. Or as FIFA likes to call it, kicks from the spot.
A couple of responses go through the head and decided to just leave it there, as it'll be quickly played back in by Oppenhagen. Odakunle. Back out to Velasquez, who's had a lot of energy since coming on in the second half.
That's what you want from the subs.
There's the cross in, wide open, but the header is right on. It was Malik Engholm, who was wide open, but couldn't put it to either side of goalkeeper Joao Nazari.
And you just wonder, did he understand how much time he had? He almost could have brought that down on his chest. Completely unmarked in there at a dangerous place.
Throw in for Sao Paulo. Mateus, boy, he's worked hard. But he also looks like he is feeling the effects. Bier. Really comfortable switch of play as he drew the defenders in and then pinged it out about 30 yards to Velasquez. Not a great ball by Engholm as he was trying to lay it off, but Midtjylland gets it back. Odakunle didn't have it. Arinze brings it down. 2 in the box. His shot. A save. Never looked like it was going to get past him, but again, only one team is creating the efforts at the moment.
I think Odakunle was making a good run here. You watch it, but you can't see him, but I think if Arinze just lays that ball off, a little right of him, his position there, I think Odakunle probably ends it. I say ends it. It's not sudden death goal, but.
Well, we haven't seen a shot attempt on, or whether it's on target or not, from Sao Paulo since the second half.
Only a couple from Midtjylland in the extra time so far, but as you said, more than Sao Paulo.
Now a chance for a break here, perhaps. Oh, just slowed down. That was good play by Oppenhagen just to keep Sao Paulo from now breaking forward, but they have an opportunity. Samuel with a cross into the box, defended well enough by Christensen. Nobody was really looking for Sao Paulo, as they had a couple players in the box, but not really to get on the end of that.
Christensen on that clearance with the back post. He's quietly had a nice match over there.
Here's Isak. Switches it over to the substitute, Henrique. His cross in, headed down. Mateus, he's been the most dangerous player for them all match. He gets it, but it's wide. Never got the contact he wanted, but that's the first time this extra time, second period or first, that Sao Paulo has at least had an attempt toward the goal.
Yeah, nice ball there from Henrique Bell just into the match. And don't really mind that from Sao Paulo. Pretty good strategy. You're anywhere near the final third, just aim for Mateus' head.
It's simple but effective. Arinze had it blocked, and now Sao Paulo with a chance to counter. Well, Neto slowed it down as he, I don't think, felt the desire to try to make a solo run of about 80 yards. Samuel.
Now about 6 minutes through the second extra time period.
Long ball forward. Oh, that one skipped off the head of Conradson. He might be able to track it down. Yeah, it's going to keep it in play. He was trying to head that up the field and just about whiffed it. It skimmed off the top of his head like a flick on.
Yeah, that's something that happens in the 106th minute.
Mateus comes down with a ball that was sort of a wayward attempt from Midtjylland. And now numbers getting forward. Neto floats it up, and Mateus has found it with the head. And from very little in the second half and into extra time, Sao Paulo grabs a late lead and could have stunned the Danes with that header from Mateus. A hat trick for the Brazilian striker.
Well, how about that? I was just about to say, just in the last couple of minutes, you feel like the Brazilians may have found a little something, and sure enough, that time, Mateus, one more time, he's been really the only consistently effective weapon so far for the Brazilians. 2 goals off set pieces in the first half. And I'll tell you what, Owen, again, 5 goals all off your head. You just don't see that very often. Now, Sao Paulo, they've got 1 foot in the championship of the Super Group now.
Midtjylland needs to find a way to get one back if they want to stay alive. Sao Paulo needs to find a way to hang on for 3 minutes or so.
And you just have to say all that possession, all that the half chances from Midtjylland, they needed to do a little bit better around goal.
Well, they're about to send it even more direct as the long ball by Krubali goes all the way out for a goal kick, too far. And you would imagine that Joao Nazari is not going to be in a hurry to play this as he high-fives both his center backs. I think he's going to get a quick warning from the referee. He points to his watch. It's the second time he's been warned.
When you play those long balls, you got to at least give your guys a chance, and that one was just hit with a little too much pace, a little too far.
So Paulo very close to reaching the Super Group final. And now they might trace one into the corner. Krubali reads it well, keeps it alive. Osorio and Samuel trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Nando. Contact. And it looks like Arinze is going to go into the box, or to the book here in the 119th minute.
And I know he's frustrated, but he's just got to keep a cool head here.